One day, one of you is going to want to sing. One day, one of you is going to want to learn how to make your own song. And you're going to have to know. But if you don't take this, you won't know. You'll never know how to talk our language.
Our language is at the brink of extinction.
We're losing a lot of our people that know how to talk fluently.
We've only got so many more speakers left, so many more knowledge keepers left.
Really great short documentary about First Nations people, and I really enjoy watching these ones because there's usually a part of it where you get to see their way of life, and it really is such a great reminder of what they believe in and how they go about living their life. And for someone that lives in a city like myself, that kind of gets forgotten so often, and we forget the land that we're on and how to appreciate the things around us and nature and everything. And so seeing shorts like this, it really does play as a really great reminder about thinking about where we came from and our history. And especially for myself living in Toronto, having a story about the First Nations in Vancouver is just always so important for myself to watch and to just kind of play reminder for myself. So yeah, it was really great to see their way of life again and be reminded of that, and then to hear the stories about the people's past and what they've had to suffer through, but seeing this new turn in their people and the community, and having education being provided for the children now, and feeling like they have a safer space to do that, and doing that work to make sure that their history doesn't die down. So really, really great documentary. I loved it. For something that's only, I think, 17 minutes it had so much information to it. And yeah, it was just really great overall. So thank you for making this and sharing this story
It's
again.
such an informative piece, and I think it speaks a lot to so many Native communities and their impact with their environment, and knowing the environment and how and the land around them, and having this mindfulness of how they interact with it. They talk about, having the water as their front yard, and the mountains, the forest as their backyard, and maintaining that, and only taking what they need, and not being greedy or gluttonous when fishing, and the tradition of fishing, and the importance of passing not only that knowledge along, but making sure that there is fish for future generations, and being able to have those resources. And the documentary talks about passing that along, and how that was almost removed through these English schools coming in, and having members of this community forget their language, forget the traditions, and forget where they're from, and how important it is for this culture and its many ideologies and practices to be passed along, and how important that is for all Native communities across the world, and how their mindfulness within their community is spread into their mindfulness with the environment and the land with them, and just this sense of care and caring for all of life. And it's really it was really interesting to watch, but it was also done in a way where you're learning so much, and you want to help preserve this this community that you're not even a part of. And that's a sign that this was incredibly well done in using those emotional appeals, and having the viewer want to go out and be a part and advocate for the topic at hand in the documentary. That's when you know the documentary was informative, but also really instilled a call to action in it as well. So those are two really important pillars in creating a successful documentary, and you nailed them. So just very, very well done.
This is a beautiful film. This is a beautiful film. A lot of stories that I did not know about. I'm completely floored that there's a possibility that this language could become extinct. It can't happen. And I love that there is a movement to make it so it doesn't. So respecting the young people who want to maintain this tradition and this language and this culture and the beauty of it all, along with the connection to nature and just the trees and the forest and the fishing, the woman who fishes and smokes the fish. Just a beautiful story. Really just gorgeous. I think this took place in Canada or shot in Canada. Great direction, great editing. Really loved all of the work. Congratulations. It's a beautiful film.
Such an insight into a culture that I absolutely never would have known before. And seeing how much it means to these people, everything that they've already struggled to just to survive to this point with how much culture they have intact and how much language they have intact, and how important it is to pass that along to the next generations, to make sure that all of as much as they can is being passed down and is being shared and is being continued. I thought it was a really well put together insight into a community. I really liked the different aspects that they showed. It wasn't just the elders talking, but getting to hear that was so important and so truly amazing. And it was also seeing younger generations and seeing how important they felt the exact same issue was and what they were doing to try and further the language and the history and the culture, and to ensure that it is being passed down as much as they can help as well. I thought that was a really great way of showing not just that it's important and not just an insight into this culture, but also that multiple generations are trying to ensure that their essence of a people continues.
It's a wonderful film. I really enjoyed learning about the Nuu-chah-nulth people in Canada. This was important. I didn't know about these people. I had not learned about them before. So, good job in making this and getting it out there, because you got a first-time person here that is learning about the people for the first time. So, excellent work. It was interesting, they started off with this premise of, we need to preserve our language, our songs, our culture, and that flows into education, So we're starting off, we're talking to, we're hearing from the elders. I love that there are artists among the elders. That was cool. I love seeing that they have leaders who are artists, which is something we're lacking in a lot of other societies, I think. From them down to the teachers in the schools teaching the children, it was wonderful to see. I also love seeing the culture of them being, seafaring people and fishing. That was really cool footage. It was beautiful and nice to see that. It's just like when one group thrives, everybody thrives. Is something that is a big takeaway from this. So again, wonderfully made film, and I hope it gets out there, and I hope people get this message and learn, because it's an important message.
It was kind of fascinating to see sort of the breakdown of this society and how they were kind of fighting to reclaim their tradition and talking about the history of being sent to these residential schools where they were, the Native Americans, by the colonists, were sent to these schools to basically, indoctrinate them into the Western society, and they would get their language and their culture and their names and everything just stripped away. Sounds a lot like what happened to the African American slaves in the U.S. But they interview these people, and they're sort of reclaiming those things, their language, and I love how some of the names of the vocations of some of the people in these tribes were like knowledge keepers. I like that. It's very nice. But again, it seems like it's that battle of the Native Americans against the churches and the government, similar to what's happened in our country as well. So it was fascinating and well done, and definitely got his point
This
across.
one is really, really interesting. I love the way that it is kind of marrying, traditions and like modern day cultures in this specific region. I think that it does a great job at kind of showing both of those, and then showing the harmony between the two, and also establishing the stakes of preserving that tradition. I think that the filmmakers did a great job at kind of covering all of those bases. The B-roll's edited really nicely. I think the whole thing's shot really nicely. And it's, more importantly, it's great that the filmmakers were able to kind of extract this story from the locals and have them be as, vulnerable and truthful on camera. Because it makes the story that much more relatable.
It's really more about reclaiming narrative when you think about it. This tribe being able to take back their story and take back their traditions and pass them down as they deservedly should be to the younger generations. The schooling that is exemplified in this documentary is so great. It's so amazing to get to see this culture survive after enduring so much opposition over the years, and through cultural appropriation and gentrification, through so much, they are still able to allow their culture to not just survive, but to thrive with both the elders as well as with the younger generation. It's beautiful to see.